Hi guys, and welcome back to Couch Critics. I'm Lamia.
And I'm Ruby, and today we're reviewing Mufasa, the new Lion King movie.
Yes, and funny anecdote. This is the third time that we're trying to film this movie. It's definitely cursed. The first time the video wasn't registering, and the second time the sound wasn't working. So
So hopefully this time it's actually gonna be working.
yeah.
But yeah. Mufasa, so basically it's a prequel of The Lion King. It's a
Mhm.
story about Mufasa, who's Simba's father, and about Scar as well, how he turned out to be the antagonist that he is. It's a live, I don't know what we call this, but it's an animated movie, but it's kind of very realistic, and it's also a musical. So yeah, that's Mufasa.
Yeah.
What did you think about the movie?
I was disappointed, but I'm gonna get to the disappointment later. I was going to ask you, did you, like when you went to watch this, did you know that like that it was about Scar?
Um,
Because the movie is called Mufasa,
yes.
and did we actually know who Mufasa is? Like, was it mentioned in the first Lion King
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mufasa was the king in the first Lion King movie. I knew that it was a story about how Scar became his dad, but it's so funny. I was watching it with my friend and and during the whole movie, I thought that the brother was someone else. I didn't know it was Scar because first of
Mhm.
all, his name is not Scar. I always thought that Scar is a nickname for Oscar. And then by the end
Why
of
did
the
you think it
movie,
was a nickname for Oscar?
because I don't know why else would he be named Scar. It never,
Because he has a scar in his eye.
but that never occurred to me. I thought it was birthmark or something. I never knew it was an actual scar.
Okay,
I was
makes
like,
sense.
Scar is such a nice nickname for Oscar. So during the whole movie, I don't know what Scar's real name was. I think it was Riker or something.
Mhm.
And then by the end of the movie, like three-quarter towards the end of the movie, I look at my friend and I'm like, "Where's Scar?" And then he looks at me and he's like, "This is Scar." And I'm like, "What?" So yeah, it was very misleading for me because, and we talked about it in the previous two times that we filmed the review, but it just didn't see, like it didn't, I didn't understand how the click happened so
Mhm.
fast because all through the movie, Scar was such a great brother. He loved Mufasa, borderline idolized him, and then all of a sudden he just wanted to kill him. And for me, that click did not make sense at all.
Yeah. I feel like the transition was almost insulting to the audience because you can't like build up a character and like make the audience like that character and root for that character. And I'm referring to Scar because like Scar was definitely a nice lion. He's the reason why Mufasa stayed alive
Yeah.
and became the lions that he became. And then, like, all of a sudden, you want to make everyone believe that he's a villain, which is not coherent. Like, all of this because of a girl that he met, like, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's just, like, even if in real life, it's not coherent. And to
No.
me, I'd still root for Scar. And honestly, like, even if we think about, like, why they had a feud together, like Mufasa and Scar, like, Scar was so loyal to Mufasa, and then Mufasa kind of stabbed him behind his back. So,
I don't see it this way because Mufasa was really trying to push, I think it was Nala, the mother,
mhm,
towards Scar, and he was trying to be a nice guy to him. And it's just like the woman who didn't choose Scar, she chose
yeah,
Mufasa, but he lied. Like many times he said, "Oh no, Scar saved you," when it was him. He
mhm,
helped him out a lot, and then she chose him. And I mean, he also liked her, which makes sense. But it's not Mufasa's fault that Nala
yeah,
chose Mufasa. I mean, it felt like Scar felt entitled to being with Nala, but it didn't make sense to me because she also has a
yeah,
say to who she chooses she wants to be with. And even as being king, Mufasa has always like because of Scar's father, Mufasa always thought that he wasn't worthy of being a
mhm,
king and it was Scar, but Scar didn't want to be a king in the first place.
mhm,
So it's just a lot of it didn't make sense
yeah,
to me. And so yeah, it's
mhm.
just I feel it's just incoherent in like personality and character wise.
I feel like they just missed so many occasions for Scar to be angry
Yeah,
at Mufasa. Like he could have been jealous of him for being more talented than
yeah,
him, for being more of a hero than him.
yeah,
But they didn't choose that path, like, because Scar was always happy for Mufasa and he
yeah,
was always grateful toward what Mufasa did for him. And yeah, it's definitely incoherent. And I don't think Scar is a villain. I still don't think. I think I mean, the whole character arc building towards the end was very cartoonish, and it just made the movie very childish. And I know, like, this is supposed to be like a movie for kids, but Disney movies were always movies for everyone. Like,
yeah,
I could still watch the 90 something version of The Lion King today
yeah,
and still appreciate it because
yeah,
it had a good silver lining, and that's what matters in any movie. But this one doesn't have any silver lining, I
yeah.
think.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with it. And I mean, as you said, in the older movies, even if it was for kids, they still respected the kids and treated
Yeah.
the movie with maturity.
Yeah.
This one just felt there was a lot of special events, and I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me. And you know, when we talk about kids' movies, I think about the Transformers movie
Hmm.
that I really did not, that we reviewed last year. I did not expect to like it. I thought it was a kids' movie, but then there was such a nice silver lining
Yeah.
towards the end that even me, as an older adult who has nothing to like, who has nothing to do with Transformers movie, I
Mm.
still enjoyed it. And with this movie, I I felt like I was meant to like it because I love The Lion King so much, and yet I still didn't enjoy it because the plot was not as sustainable
Hmm.
as the previous movies.
And
So yeah.
last time when we tried to film this video, you talked about the Ghibli movies
Yes.
too,
Yeah.
and those movies are kind of hard to understand. Like,
Yes.
and I think it's a good thing for a kid to watch something that's a little bit complicated to understand because it pushes them, it will make them have a critical thinking.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just confusing
Yes.
for a 5-year-old kid who would see someone so nice turn into a
Yeah.
villain in such like for no reason. It's just very confusing, I
That
think.
creates trust issues for kids. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah.
totally.
And yeah, speaking of Ghibli movies, I think we also talked about the animation last time. Ghibli movies have been going on since the 80s,
Mm,
and the animation has always been the same. And even though there was a movie that came out last year, the design was always the same. And I feel like Disney now is trying to take advantage of the fact that the technology is going forward and that they can actually make realistic lions speak and sing and
mhm,
everything. But to me, like the images of lions, the real lions singing, it
mhm.
just didn't make sense either.
Yeah, totally. I think that when it comes to animals, they shouldn't try to make
Yeah,
animated movies out like for animals. But I do like the idea of Disney trying to make a backup story to for villains.
yeah,
Is just this is a bad one, but they did have like good ones like Cruella. Cruella was really
I
successful.
loved it. It was
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
but yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is like they tried to promote this movie really heavily. Like I was in Morocco when I watched this, and there were posters of it like in a lot of places, and also like I was downtown Montreal this weekend, and they had like huge posters of this movie.
I did not get that at all. For me, the promotion was really laid back because
Yeah.
if I didn't look it up, I wouldn't have known that the movie was coming out.
Mm,
And even yesterday, I was out with my friends and I was telling them that I recently watched the Lion King movie, and they were like, "Oh, is it already out?" Nobody knew
yeah.
about it. So I don't feel like they actually did enough promotion, but maybe
Mm,
I was not in the right places.
yeah.
But I feel like sometimes there's movies that you cannot escape knowing that they're coming out. I mean, for Wicked, we knew it was coming out like a year before it actually
True.
came out, whereas with this movie, it's out, and yes, maybe they're promoting it a little, but it's just
Mhm.
not enough in my opinion.
But it's also because a lot of good movies are coming out at the
Yes.
same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Nosferatu, Baby Girl,
Yeah.
Queer, um, Better Man, and it's just like I mean, if you had to choose between The Lion King and Better Man, it's you're gonna watch a Better Man, and like I mean, it's the story of Robbie Williams.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I still have to go and watch that movie. You told me so much
yeah.
about it, so yeah.
I think that sums it up.
I think that sums it up. That's our opinion on Mufasa, the new Lion King movie. We hope you guys are going to have the chance to watch it. And when
Mhm.
you do, let us know what you think, if you agree or disagree with us.
And please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.